All right, folks, we are in the aviary, and I just thought I'd give you kind of an update on these beds that are in here. I showed you them planted, I guess, a few weeks ago. Can't really show you much that way. You got the sun blaring in. But they're all basically planted exactly the same, and this is taking lessons over a couple of years of growing in here. Usually I shoved 6 pepper plants into each one of these. This year I decided to do 4. That'll let me more effectively manage the individual plants with less crowding. I think we'll get maybe more total pounds of production this way as well, and it opens things up more for doing kind of interplanting and stuff like that. So these are jalapenos, and that's about the only thing different from bed to bed to bed. There's a few other little variances, but mostly they're all 4 peppers with this understory of garden greens in the beginning anyway, nasturtium and stuff like that we'll get to in a second. But there's different peppers. There's cubanelles, there's jalapenos, and then down the back way there's some sweet peppers and Anaheims. Anyway, the peppers are doing beautifully, and it's like 41 degrees this morning, which is actually great. It's not going to freeze. That would be bad, but we've had really nice weather in the 80s. We even touched 90 degrees a couple times, and then we had this cold snap roll in. Peppers are actually a subtropical perennial plant. They grow places where it never freezes or barely freezes, and they grow for years and years in those climates into a big bush. So they like variances in temperature. It triggers growth. They're cool first part of the season. That's when young pepper plants need to get a head of steam up as soon as it warms up. So when you have a pepper plant like this and you get a cold snap out of warm weather and then the warm comes back, it's really a good stimulant. So as great as these plants are doing already, I mean, we're sitting here in April and this plant's, my hand's a good 7 inches right there. So that's what, a foot at least. And we've got, blossoms and peppers setting already and starting to fork branch, and look at the color in them. They're just absolutely gorgeous. This is even better for them. And as always, we'll use, I keep my stainless steel wire from the prior season just rolled up so it doesn't hit anybody in the face. And we'll just pull these down and use this as support for these guys. I'll roll that up once I'm done. Now I gotta be careful I don't get hit in the face. What's going on in here though, we've got this red amaranth, and this is like a perfect size for salad right here. So you cut that off and you just drop that whole thing into a salad. 4 or 5 of those on the top really livens up a salad. We got some dill in here. I'm gonna make myself a little mini salad right here while I'm hanging out with you. So I got some dill. And let's see. Got some Swiss chard. It's a little bit small to be picking yet, but it'll be fine. So I'm gonna grab me a chard leaf here. And we got a little morning snack right there. I'll enjoy that later. But yeah, I want to also show you something else. You see that amaranth green? That amaranth turning green? And some of this red amaranth beginning to shed its color? It's all red amaranth. That's not some sort of genetic mutation. That's the plant's adaptation. These darker amaranths, they like this darker color because why? Because it helps collect sun and heat. And as we've had those warm days, some of these plants have been dropping that color because they're plenty warm enough. They don't want to overheat, and that shows that they're actually, like all plants, they're green because of their chlorophyll underneath. So you'll often see that with red amaranths or maroon amaranths. Sometimes the plants will get about yay big, and all of a sudden the leaves will start to go green, and since it's supposed to be a red plant, people think there's something wrong with it. There isn't. As long as the plant looks otherwise healthy, you've got your salad. It just changes color. One of the ways to counter that is to continuously plant this as a green like this of the season, because if you let 4 or 5 of these grow to maturity and harvest the seed out of it every year, you'll have more seed than you need to do this. It's amazing how much seed there is. This guy here, he needs to be a little bigger yet, but this is the other way that I use this plant is as a sauteing green, as a cooking green. So let this guy get about that big, which once they start growing like this, it'll only take a couple more days, and you get about a dozen of those per person, because they're going to wilt some. Cut them off at the stalk and drop them into a frying pan. And especially, we're going to have some lamb's quarters about the same time get into that size. So these mixed with lamb's quarters are great. And right now, that's kind of what's going on here. There is some other things beginning to happen because, of course, this will success out. We'll get past the time of the year where we really do a lot of that. So I don't see it here. We've got some cucumber coming up. Every bed also has a single tomato in the back, they're all cherry tomatoes. They just do better for me here than full-size tomatoes. Again, we have wires ready to come down and train them up. I am definitely going with kind of the hard pruning, you know, one central leader with my tomatoes this year. I hate cutting off suckers because I know you can have productivity there, but in this tight space, it grows a lot better that way. Yeah, I think we got little cukes coming up here. Yeah, see? So we'll kill a couple of those, plant a couple seeds and make sure you get one. But all of my corners where I have this kind of angle opportunity here, I've done a cuke. So each bed, here's a cucumber, next wing wall down, same thing the very end. So we'll have cucumbers coming out here. So you can see we get a lot of production out of one of these beds. And I have sweet potato slips in the greenhouse right now being rooted and grown out. You know, we'll come through here and we'll pop, you know, just 1 or 2 sweet potato slips in the front of each one of these barrels, and it'll be like the prior years. We'll have the sweet potato greens trained and growing over. They'll grow down, and when they get down to ground level, the birds will peck at them and eat them, and that's fine. That stuff grows so fast. And then we'll end up with the sweet potato yield at the end of the season. So you don't get a ton of them, but, you know, I'll get 8 big old sweet potatoes out of each bin that way, and they take almost no space up, and it makes the place look fracking awesome, right? So anyway, I'm gonna enjoy my salad. I didn't want to eat it yet because I didn't want to be rude on camera eating, but the other thing is I'm gonna go in the greenhouse. There's some celery in there. I'm gonna grab a couple celery leaves and wrap it up in that. That'll be my breakfast, and we'll catch you later.